All right, let's dive in. We're going to decode one of the oldest and most widespread mysteries in all of human history, the dragon. Forever, we've just chalked them up to fantasy. But what if they were born from something real, something terrifying, buried right under our feet?
And that's the real puzzle here, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Before the internet, before we could just hop on a plane, how did all these completely separate civilizations all dream up a creature with such spookily similar features? It's a question that really points to something much, much deeper about our shared human experience.
So first things first, let's just get our heads around how universal this is. We're not talking about a local legend. We are talking about a full-on, planet-wide nightmare where cultures that were oceans apart somehow hallucinated the exact same anatomical horrors.
Take ancient China, for example. You've got the lung, this powerful serpentine beast. Now, sure, it was a symbol of power and good fortune, but it was still this immense reptilian creature that commanded total awe and respect. Okay, now jump halfway across the world to medieval Europe. Here, the creature becomes something way more sinister, the Draco. This is your classic, fire-breathing, winged monster from all the knight in shining armor stories, a symbol of pure terror that had to be slain.
And this is what really drives home the global reach of this myth. Look at Mesoamerica and Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Yeah, the details are different, the cultural role is different, but that core anatomy, a massive, snake-like being, it's right there. Serpentine, reptilian, powerful. You just can't deny the pattern.
So where did this shared vision even come from? Well, the first clue isn't in our dreams or stories. It's literally buried in the earth. We've got to bridge what the source material calls the cognitive gap, that leap your mind takes between finding a weird bone and picturing a full-blown beast.
This slide just captures that shift in thinking perfectly. Today, right, you and I dig up some strange giant bone, and our mind immediately goes to science. We see a dinosaur fossil, a cool piece of national history. But you got to put yourself in the shoes of an ancient farmer. You're out in a field, and you unearth a skull the size of a boulder, with teeth like daggers. You don't know about extinction or geology. What are you seeing? You're seeing undeniable proof that monsters are real.
And this brings us to the absolute core idea of this whole explainer. The dragon isn't just some story that got passed down. Nope. It's a psychological construction, something our own minds built, using terrifying, fragmented evidence.
Okay, let's really define this concept, the primal architecture of fear. It's basically the idea that our brains are hardwired for this. When we're faced with incomplete, scary information, like, say, a giant, unidentifiable skeleton, our brain's natural response is to fill in the blanks to create a complete, coherent threat. It's a survival instinct that, in this case, accidentally became a myth-making machine.
So you can actually break this down into a pretty simple 4-step process. Step 1, someone finds these massive, totally unknown bones. Step 2, that discovery triggers an immediate, gut-level feeling of primal fear. Step 3, the brain, now supercharged by that fear, just leaps into action, connecting the bony dots, imagining the skin, the scales, the wings, the whole shebang. And boom, step 4, a dragon is born, right into the culture's memory.
Okay, so that's a really fascinating theory, right? But can we prove it? Well, this is where things get truly wild, because modern tech is giving us this incredible window into the ancient mind. We can actually use AI to test this whole idea. All right, here's our first piece of the puzzle, an ancient, weathered stone carving. You can see it clearly. It's a serpentine creature, a dragon from long, long ago. For centuries, we would have just looked at this and thought, cool art, pure imagination.
And now, here's the second piece. The potential inspiration, the fragmented, fossilized bones of a prehistoric creature, something that could have been found in the exact same region as that carving. Just a jumble of bones. That's it.
And here it is, the big reveal. Using AI, scientists create a biological reconstruction from those exact fossil fragments. And when they lay that reconstruction over the ancient carving, it's a nearly perfect match. The curve of the spine, where the head is placed, it's just stunning. It's visual proof. The ancient artist wasn't just making things up, they were an observer, an interpreter of the evidence they had.
So what does this all mean? It means these myths are so much more than just campfire stories. They're like cognitive maps. They're a record of how our ancestors tried to make sense of a world that was filled with terrifying, unexplainable things. In a way, our monsters show us how we think.
This quote from the source material just says it perfectly.
By linking these carvings to actual fossils, we're not just solving the mystery of the dragon. We are literally uncovering the primal architecture of fear that was churning away in our ancestors' minds centuries before we had the science to know what they were even looking at.
So let's just quickly break down the big takeaways here. First, this shows us that myths aren't just fantasy. They can be treated like historical data. Second, it suggests that our deepest, most primal fears might actually have a shared universal structure. Third, it completely reframes ancient people. They weren't just superstitious, they were proto-scientists, using the only tools they had, observation and imagination, to explain their world. And finally, it proves that technology today can be the key to unlocking our own collective past.
And all of this leaves us with one last, huge question. If the dragon myth is a map to the ancient discovery of fossils, then what other myths are out there just waiting to be decoded? The griffin, the cyclops, the kraken. What other maps to our own minds are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to find the right tools to finally read them?